Morning all. Morning all. Sorry, just trying to do some maintenance in the Discord. Hopefully the news feed will be working again now. Had to add a new bot and everything. Hopefully that'll be up and running shortly. All right, good morning everyone. Gapping up. All right, gapping up again in this market. Above point of control, about a 500 point gap up, but we're inside. We're still inside the previous day's range because of that huge swipe we had yesterday. All right, so we have to understand what we're doing today. So as always, we're going to start on the higher time frame chart and work our way down. All right, on a daily here. You can see yesterday on the daily, we came into this big level down here, huge level where we found some bids. All right, from there, we've started reversing. We've started reclaiming these lows. And at the moment, we're drifting up to back test this old SBR level. All right, so I'm interested in this because this is what we tested yesterday. Wick to wick, 340s, sort of all the way up to 450s. That's a level of supply. Not just because of this wick that we put in yesterday. There's a reason we rejected there. If you look left, it is an old support. All right, old support. We expect it to become resistance. Right, so that is a key level. Beyond that, we can think about a fib point, swing to swing. We're trading into 50 and 61%. So if we start to get acceptance through 18,500, we're going to reclaim the Bollinger Band. All right, or we've already started to reclaim the Bollinger Band, and we're going to maybe drift into the golden pocket. All right, we do have an old gap up here that we can still put in. Let's leave that in here to remember that that's there. All right, on that big gap down. So it's possible for a drift higher today. What I would say is any move higher continues to be counter trend, continues to be a squeeze. If we think about the structure of this, downtrend, pullback, retest the low, pullback, flush. This is nothing more than a pullback. We expect sellers to come back in and retest this low. Right? From a structural point of view, that's what we would expect. When will that change? Really, that will change if we get all the way up here. All right, this is where if we start getting acceptance over 19,200 and basing, we open up a bigger squeeze. Now, I would imagine we would need some major news to change that, like tariffs no longer exist, etc. So any move upside today remains counter trend. It might be a trend on the day, but beyond that, beyond this session, it isn't. If we move into the hourly now, we're going to have a deeper look into why. Again, you can see gap has been filled, found bids, and we had some support structure now that we created the last few days. We got this double bottom from those lows yesterday. We have this high that we put in yesterday and we held. Other than this wick, we kept holding that all day long, 17,000-ish. And then beyond that, this push, break, retest. We had a nice, nasty swipe there, afternoon pullback, 237. And Asia. All right, Asia and London, this Globex range, clearly absolutely key. You can see we were boxed in here until we just broke out. Sorry about that. All right, this definitely becomes key. I would say rotations from, let's just call it 900 down into basically 650. All right, this is a box. This is rotation. This is where they accumulated and they just got that breakout now. So how we act there is going to be key. How we act into these levels of liquidity above is going to be key. Definitely into this area here, 350, 360, through that 4,500s. All right, so potentially today, if we hold Globex, there is a drive back into here. If we get acceptance over here, there is a drive into here. Some point up here, I'd expect us to go risk off. Okay, so maybe short, maybe longs down into these areas here. Maybe we hold Globex or do a little sweep, point of control, and then go back up. When do the shorts come in? Well, two options really. We drift higher on a squeeze and then we fail in supply, right? Or we start getting heavy and rotating and getting stuck under here and then come down here, and then we've got trapped buyers up here and we're going to go and retest these key areas. So those are kind of the plays that I'm looking at today. Again, all right, I feel like I'm on repeat as Groundhog Day, but the range is massive. This little flag pullback on a 5-minute that we've got, right, we're already moved from 920 up to 150 in pre-market. All right, That is monstrous. This is huge moves. That's like a normal daily move there, folks. All right, so just be careful with your sizing. Again, you're not going to need size in this market. If we're going to keep drifting, again, we've got this 5-day moving average up here. We've got this old high and we've got supply. So that's what I'm looking at, looking to see if and how we can get up there right now. You can see right now in the lower time frame, we're bullish. In this lower time frame here, we're bullish. In the higher time frame, we're still not bullish. In a daily, we're definitely still not bullish. Right, but I'm just wondering, can we come all the way back up and get through? I think acceptance over 280 and 350 lets us get up towards 500s. And you can see these levels marked out here. Let's have a quick look at the MAG. Just move this into a 5 minute so we can get a better understanding of the MAG. Apple gapping up. You can see everything's gapping up versus PDC right now. Apple gapping up. There's your gap. Driving up. It's going to attack these highs that we put in yesterday. That's what the market's trying to do at the moment. Test those sellers. Microsoft gapping up. That is a massive gap up. Okay, coming to test yesterday's highs. Amazon, same story. Big gap up already through previous day high. Goog, big gap up, not quite at yesterday's high. Same story across the board here. Meta, big gap up through yesterday's high, starting to squeeze, coming to look to backtest some of these key levels. Nvidia, big gap up at the same thing through yesterday's highs. Tesla, the weaker one, gap up, not through yesterday's highs, but the whole market, the whole MAG, in a bit of a squeeze right now, in a bit of a rotation higher. The question right now is if and when, or maybe not if, when do higher time frame sellers come back into the market? That's what everyone's waiting for, waiting to see. Headline news again will move this market today. Looking at the VIX, gapping down, all right, gapping down back to previous day lows. So key levels here at the VIX, 38. So I'm just going to draw these out so I don't have to keep looking at them all day. 38 was yesterday's lows. Let's get this in. Before that, we were looking at Friday into 35s. And if we fail that, oh, it's an almighty way down, isn't it? There's a big old squeeze up. Might even come all the way back down to 25s. Wouldn't surprise me if they really let that go at some point. If we're going to go on a squeeze. These are big if, buts, and maybes right now, folks. And to the high side, you're probably looking at pivots into 49s, 48, 49s with some supply. So I'm marking these out as I go here. And the IB high yesterday, clearly a big level. Sort of 53s. Clearly a big level. And then through that, we got all the way to 60. So if it decides to go on a ripper today and the market's going to bend over and break the lows, that's the trigger point. All right, so you should have those drawn out if you're following me there. Not much news today. Nothing really scheduled of note. But headlines will move this market. All right, keep saying it. Any sort of headline to come out likely to move the market right now. See if I can get this Discord fixed and sorted. Posted newsfeed should be sorted. Bear with me, team. Sorry, trying to get everyone set up so they don't have to keep doing this. The bots keep failing with financial juice at the moment, unfortunately. Just one of those things. How long we got? 3 minutes to open. We're looking good here. Plenty of time. There we go. Having a quick look at the book then. Where is the liquidity? Well, there is a seller above us right now. 100 lot at 18,300. That's up at that previous day high. All the way up there. VIX continues to sell off here. Same story for the ES. Okay, ES in a big drive here towards previous day high already. Very, very close. SPY very close to taking it out already. If we start getting acceptance above those levels, I think the market can have a bit of a shove up here this morning. All right, good chance we have a bit of a shove up here this morning if we get acceptance either above previous day high or if we hold this. If we hold these levels or if we get acceptance above here, these are sort of the levels we're looking at. You do not want to be short on the first test up into here. You do not want to be long, grabbing longs up here on a first test, all right? This will be the first test. We expect some rotation before it gets going, unless lots and lots of shorts are trapped in this market. So let's get through some good mornings here. Morning, Clint, Miguel, Ramus, Logan, Jeff, Aaron, Jesse, Coop, Louis, Clint, Gopher Hill, Glenn, Julian, ASAD, Kaladin, John Dennis, Arturo, Jeffrey, Thumper, TR, Mindful Matters, Brandon, Brad, Chris, Marek, Alan, Aga, Ian, Trentry, Juan Carlos, Vince, Christy, Array, Crawford, Mike, Stephen W, Phenom, Raphael, Dre the Trader, Paul. God, there's so many of you here now. Leron, Mr. Slim, Minux, BU, Andrew G, Alan Bailey, Capt, Umalabi, Peter Robbins. Good morning, everyone. All right, remember our job in this market right now? Defense. Defense, all right? Your ATR is absolutely massive. We will make money when and if the market comes to us and sets up. You will not need size. You do not need to be slinging minis in this market, all right? You sling minis in this market, you're going to learn the hard way. You're either going to make a lot of money or you're going to lose everything you've ever made very, very quickly. So be careful. Do not be surprised to see 300-400 point candles today. I want you to be careful. I'm just going to let this set up, go from there, see what we can get here, folks. See if the market will give us a pullback to enter or if it's just going to be in an almighty hurry out the gate. Hopefully it'll offer some pullback, give us some structure, and we can think about the longs. And if it starts failing and doesn't set up that long, we think about that short move back down. 10 seconds here to the open. I don't want to buy high here, though. I definitely don't want to buy where we're trading into right now, into a supply block. Would like to see us come back down first before I think about anything else. But we will see, folks, won't we? We're going to see what this market gives us. Here's the open then. Watching liquidity on the book. That seller at 200 and 300 right now. Here we go. It looks like Twitter now. Newsfeed now working for everyone in there. Just paid for another bot, third bot. Hopefully this works. Okay, let's mark out this New York Open before I forget. And let this market settle down for a minute. All right, big response here in tech, right? Tesla, 5.5% up. Nvidia approaching 7% up. Meta, 5.12% up. Google, 3.25% up. Amazon, just under 5% up. Microsoft, just under 3% up. And Apple, 2.3% up. 2.30% up. So nice gap up like we talked about. Remember, the gap fill will take us all the way back down to here. It's a long way away right now. 17,562 for a gap fill. Long way away. Over 500 point gap up here. It's a huge gap. That's because the ATR has been massive. All right, the range in this market is huge. If you're just coming to the market for the first time in a few days, be very, very careful. Understand that those candles you're looking at, they might look like 5-10 point candles, but they're more likely to be 50 to 100 point candles right now. Candles in futures are based on the range to the left, so sometimes it's hard to understand how big they are until you go and actually measure the points. Take your time here. Let's see what this market can do. I'd like to see a bit of a pullback first before I think about doing anything else. All right, ideally coming and test that Asia and London range, watching that hourly. We're right into supply right now. All right, on a higher time frame, look at the hourly. We're coming right into this sort of block where we got stuck at on Friday. So I want to be really careful thinking about longs up here. Really careful thinking about longs up here. see. Nice and patient here, folks. Can see the market's not in a hurry this morning. We've got no news today scheduled, other than, of course, what they're going to say on the news streams and stuff this morning about the tariffs. But we've got no actual news. There's a bit of a Fed talk later in the afternoon, but I'll be long gone by then. ES not getting to previous day high yet. SPY got very, very close there. All right, SPY's previous day high 23.20. We reached 22.20, so a point away on the SPY on the ETFs. QQQ a bit further away. Relative weakness in terms of positioning, although tech looks very, very good this morning. Big old gap up. So back towards New York Open here. Seems like it's in a hurry to try and get going again. I would like a deeper pullback. I really would before I think about doing anything. About to take out the high here by the looks of it. Into this for the long. Oh, well, that cancelled straight away. I'm not sure what happened there. In for the high break there off the flow zones. And this is going to go without me now. Can't chase it. Watching ES. Just looking for a little scalp to start the day. Watching this hourly right now as it starts to build out for the drive up into low-hanging fruit. 287 and then 347 was what I was looking for there. But no bueno. Instantly cancelled for some reason. Great start to the day with technology. There we go. So they swept that high. The question is, do they keep holding flow zones now for that drift higher? They're showing an unwillingness to go lower right now. So it feels to me like they're going to squeeze for the previous day high here on the ES and the spiders. That's what they're looking to do. We've got a seller up here on the tape just in front of 250 and another seller at 300. So 250, he's trying to drag the market up towards here right now, all right, to get filled, and then up here. So I was looking to take a quick trade, small size, micro into there if I could have got it going. I won't chase it now. Let's see what we get here. ES not showing a willingness to get up to that previous day high here. NQ looks like it's much, much more willing. VIX already breaking down underneath previous day low, which is what was giving me the confluence for there. We're already getting a shove down on the VIX. Sub 40s now, trading at 38.08. If we keep selling off, we're going to trade down towards 36s. If we start breaking underneath 36, there's a big, big move down to 31s and then all the way deeper. It's a long, long way down for the VIX. And we went on a big squeeze on the VIX, a big failure in the markets. Not much structure there. We are near supply, though. Like I said, not ideal location to buy. I was just looking for a little scalp. They instantly cancelled me out. ES not willing to get up to PDH yet. Market not in a hurry to do anything here. It felt like it was going to be in a hurry to go and take out that previous day high, but it's just sort of stopped. Volume seems a bit muted right now. Buyers probably don't want to come in up here ideally. I didn't really want to join in here up ideally, but I wanted a little micro in case we got going, which we haven't. So back down to retest then. All right, retest where we just broke out from, which was basically 18,060s. If we fail that, 17,028. If we fail that, we're watching that London and Asia range. This is going to be key. We said it pre-market. These areas here. Do we sweep this, find a bid? Do we come down here, find a bid? Do we do this all day? If we do this all day, I won't be trading it. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in longs back up, or if we're really going to get heavy, if we start to fail underneath, I just don't want to participate in this. This is a very clear level where you can get trapped. Coming back down into this old block here. And actually move this up to here. It looks a bit better up there based on the 5 minute. So yeah, ES couldn't get to previous day high. Fell a little bit short there. Market starting to come back in now. Can we come down to some structure that we like? buyers on the tape? No, not really. Nothing on the tape. Very, very thin. Very small around here, 18,050, 18,000, but we're talking 10 and 12 lots. You know, I'm looking for 100 lot, 50 lot, 200 lot, something like that. Nothing right now. Very, very thin. Market couldn't get to that PDH. It got stuck into the supply. Couldn't get to PDH. And failing New York. Remember, gap fill is a long, long way down if it's going to do a gap fill. It's a really long way down. What I'm interested in as well is the lower time frame algo. It seems to have been key the last few days. Pulled back yesterday, held lower time frame algo. Pulled back last night, and again, used it as an over-under. So I'm interested in that lower time frame algo back to VWAP, which is also in that Asia. I'm definitely watching that level to see if that's what they're bidding off right now. We have gone through lower time frames, converted above higher time frame. That is also key. I'm going to put an anchor in off the New York Open because we're quite far away. Quite far away from the other VWAP. So I just want to know where the average price of participants in New York is right now as well. Muted open, but due to the range, it is already 142 points, right, in the first 10 minutes. So it looks small. It's 142 points. That's the normal size of your first hour. And we've had in the first 9 minutes here. Do they start catching this? Are they looking for a squeeze? Watching the VIX. Trading back inside right now, inside its range. Reclaimed previous day low. So watching this very, very carefully. Acceptance above for the VIX and will give confluence for a possible move down. If the VIX starts failing here, then maybe we're going to go for that shove back up and a squeeze. Just waiting right now. Lower would be better for me to think about buying back in. I don't want to be too biased today either. Happy to take the short, so I just want to see high time frame sellers come in if I'm really convinced on a short today. Bear with me, folks. I'm just going to grab a coffee here as it's muted. Feel like I've got a bit of time. All right, folks. All right, just trying to set lower highs, lower lows here, but it can be very, very trappy here. So you can see it in those whips. That last candle, not very nice. 137 down to 71. These are big candles, like 50, 60, 70 point whip arounds while it's trying to find its feet here. VIX coming back down to previous day low. Buyer now on the tape down at 18,000. Do we get a move down into here, which they bid back off? It's kind of the question. Even lower would be Globex. If they wanted to sweep these lot and hold Globex, I'd be very interested. If they get stuck here, that's probably a range in here. Not this bit down here. Ignore that. In here. So really, I'm thinking, how low do they go before they find a bid here to try and drive it back up? Bulls are in control, lower time frame here, but we're still in an inside bar. Here we go. It doesn't look like very much so far. Selling on the tape here, still at 250 and 300 if they can get going. This is a battle here this morning. All right, do they present a lower high here to sell into in front of that New York? All right, are they going to protect the New York Open or do we get through it? Structurally, technically, we've just shifted beyond here for a downtrend, but this can be very quickly bought back up. So just letting this shake out right now, especially with the size of these candles. You do not want to get stuck. You do not need to be using size. We're 12 minutes into the day. You got different time frame traders not in alignment right now. Hourly traders will be looking at this supply block, as will 4-hour. Daily traders probably not too interested right now in participating. They'll want a move outside previous day range. Intraday traders, 5 minutes, well, they've had their fun already overnight, driving it higher. The question is, have they had enough, or have they got more juice in the tank here? There's your New York open tap. So are we going to get acceptance back above? VIX starting to drive back down towards its low of day here. If it starts to let go of low of day, I think there's a very, very good chance we go on a bit of a squeeze. Previous day high will be the target. If we can do that, we'll want to take out that Newswick if it wants to get going. And we would like lower first, but it's definitely not going to make it easy here. That's what I thought might happen. It might try and hold its gains. The battle here, internal range battle, almost 15 minutes in. 5 minutes still holding flow zones. Flow zones still very much bullish. We're still in time frame alignment upside right now until proves otherwise. Morning, Noah. Morning, everyone. Muted open, isn't it, compared to the last few days, but to be expected. If you're a bear right now, you've probably taken your money and you're waiting for a bigger relief to get back in. If you're a bull right now, you're probably bidding it up yesterday and overnight, and you're probably thinking, I don't really want to buy here into supply. So right now, it's just a waiting game. Let one side get trapped. Remember, we don't need to trade every day. Yesterday was a fantastic day. Most of you, or a lot of you, would have had record days yesterday. You know, we're making 400-500 points yesterday. Don't be giving all those gains back today. Back to that New York Open again here. ES looks the weaker of the two right now for sure. Mag's still looking good. Tesla 5% up. Nvidia 6.81% up. Meta 5% up. Google over 2.5% up. Amazon 3.5% up. Microsoft 2.80% up, and Apple 2.85% up. So Mag holding its gains well here. None of those going green to red. New low of day here on the VIX. VIX starting to break down here. Definitely starting to see a breakdown here on the VIX. I think they want to go for previous day high. It's just a question of, does it have the strength to do it? So what it looks like to me, starting to get going here. So your opening range now set. Your high of day is your opening range. Here it goes. That's your pop of your opening range. And your opening range low is at 18,060. Now I would say the target here is previous day high. That Newswick, or whatever you want to call it, fake Newswick, 362 is possible. ES looks like it's going to do it now. It really wants to get going. That VIX was the key, like I said. VIX, new low of day, starting to break down. Not much structure for it to aim to until it gets to 3630s. Right, so there's a good point and a half fail coming up in the VIX if it wants to let go. Like I said, you do have sellers on the tape here in front of 250. Right, seller at 250, seller at 300. We are buying high in this move if we're going to take it. You know, buying that opening range high if you're going to take it. Very, very risky because the opening range is so large. We don't have a new high of day yet on the ES either. So you've got divergence there on the tape. Even though the VIX is dumping back down now. ES showing an unwillingness to get through the current high of day to get to that previous day high. Just letting this shake out. I want to see alignment. I want to see the ES start to join in. I'm not liking what I'm seeing there on the ES. Like what I'm seeing on the VIX, like what I'm seeing on the Qs. Do not like what I'm seeing on the ES. Again, location not ideal to be a buyer. Momentum good right now. Location not ideal to be a buyer. We would have loved a morning shove down into here. That would have been ideal. So I want to be very, very careful, because up here, if they want to, all right, the target is ideally here, all right, and then they might want to do something like this. All right, so can they squeeze up and then roll it over? Just being flat and patient right now. Again, 155-point range currently, folks, on the morning session, on the New York sessions. Big range for the first. Your opening range being 155 points is not a joke. All right, that is not a joke. You're probably looking at 50 points normally. So 3x the size, and it can really open up here. If it starts failing or if it starts pushing to the upside, it can open up. Like I said, ES couldn't get going there. You can see divergence between the two as a pair. You would expect, in theory, ES should have broken through previous day high there when VIX started snapping down, and it just couldn't get going. So that was showing a bit of weakness, which is why I didn't join in long. And we just wait to see now. Watching the volume here as well carefully. Back down towards the bottom or the midpoint of the opening range. Chopping around in this opening range. Once we get outside of this opening range, I'm going to be more interested in a play. Especially if we can get alignment. Slower morning. I'm welcome a slower morning after yesterday. Yesterday was chaos, wasn't it? Absolute chaos. Make sure you're adapting to the market, folks. All right, we can't come to the market every day. Slinging the same size, expecting to have the same conditions. All right, big move up. If you think about after a big move up, this might not look like a big move, but this is a big move up. This is 800-point move up. We expect some consolidation. All right, ideally here or here for this. If we fail in here, this is more rotation, and that will be trap buyers confirming supply. So just got to be a little bit patient here. We will get a nice trade here today. It's just a question of waiting it out, letting it set up. Can we get a live bot in the Discord? What do you mean by a live bot? I just added MEE6 so that you get the news getting posted. Let me know what you mean, mate, and I'll see what I can do. Yeah, Louis, it was chaos yesterday, wasn't it? Live stream in the Discord. What, rather than on YouTube? I'll have a look if there's a way of doing that. So it just posts YouTube in Discord. Is that what you mean? I mean, look at the tape here. Still a buyer down at 18,000. Very muted tape this morning. You can see we're just trading back and forth inside this opening range. I'm not interested in touching this opening range right now. There's your orb low, there's your orb high, there's supply, there's the target. Fail it under here, might get a wash back down to Globex. Come and take out some of these guys. So far, we're holding this, aren't we? RBS, but this is thin volume because it was done pre-market. Strong candle there coming in, going back towards the highs. ES may be now getting ready to start participating. Who knows? Keeps getting stuck up there. 3 attempts to get through there. Hasn't been able to do it. Again, there is a seller there in front of 250. If they get through 200, I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick swipe up towards 250, fill that seller if we get through that 300. It's a big if right now. It's very hard to justify buying that opening range break, but you know, the target on ES looks like that previous day high. It looks fairly obvious as a target. It's just how many games are they going to play to get there? I would very much doubt that they would protect the previous day high. It's possible, but you would imagine they would go and swipe it out, which on the ES would be a move to 286. So there's 20 points up for grabs here. Here's your opening range, top of the opening range again here. There's your 200 break. Like I said, I can very, very much imagine them swiping this up. There's your opening range break. They swipe that up, filled that seller like we talked about. There's another one come back on there. So they filled 173 up there. They're looking for another drive up towards 250s. ES still cannot get going here. The ES definitely wants to make that shape towards previous day high. That's what the ES wants to do. Whether it can do it or not is a whole other thing, but that is definitely what it wants to do. And then 300 for the NQ, really. 300 and 360 would be PDH. And it goes ES then into current daily highs. Current session highs, I should say. VIX breaking down again towards the low of day. So you've got alignment here if it wants to do it. Again, your range is massive. The swipes are big. You've got to be careful here. The swipes are big. Feels like it's building to do that move. ES still cannot get through. No move through the current session high so far. Back into the orb here. Definite lot of kerfuffle up here. 3 attempts there. 1, 2, 3 without that breakout. You got to be careful here because we're building liquidity like this. Always very hard. You don't really want to be buying up here, do you? Location's better here. And at that point, momentum has swung back down. Very, very tricky when they do these games. We're into supply. Not an ideal place to be thinking about being a buyer for that opening range break. All right, that orb break. It's not an ideal location on the higher time frame right now. Yeah, still cannot get through it. VIX trying to find a bid at that low of day right now. I want to be a buyer. Honestly, I want to be a buyer for the move to PDH, but I think it's a scalp and a scalp only, and I don't trust it because of the location. We are in supply. I'd much rather be a buyer lower today. Talked about this numerous times. This location is not ideal, but it feels like they're just looking for that swipe up right now. VIX approaching low of day yet again. Four minutes left until a new hour. I want to be careful of that as well because this hour candle is pretty big. We can drive all the way back down to 18,070 if it wants to. And it will just be refilling an hourly balance if it does that. I want to be very careful if it does that. Yeah, see, it's not ideal location. Lots of people will be playing the orb, but we are right into supply. That red block, looking left from Friday last week as well. Definitely a draw higher for it to go to, but it's struggling to get going up there. Yeah, totally. It's almost like I'd rather see a swipe down first, clear everyone out, return back up, and then be like, okay, now it's ready. It's done enough trapping around. At the moment, it doesn't fill me with confidence to think about a long up here. Even though I think ES wants to go for PDH, even though VIX has just printed a new low of day, it's going to come all the way back down to 36.50, 35.50 is a point range down there. It can find a bid. Even though I think all those things can happen, don't like the location. 2.5 minutes till that H1 and H4, and that can be wild. It's a big H4. We can come all the way back into here on an H1. We can definitely come back into 18,065. There it goes. Looking for that shove into the 50s like we talked about now. ES now starting to get ready, starting to print a new high of day. It wants previous day high. I'm telling you, that's where it wants to go. It's just making it pretty much impossible to get involved for the move up to it, isn't it? If you're in this, you look good. Just make sure you're moving your stop up into the money. And you can look for 300. Seller on the tape at 300, 100 lot there. So you're looking for it to take out 300 here. ES approaching PDH, so it's all starting to happen now. Made it very, very hard to get involved. But if you got involved there on those pullbacks, you look good. I would take a partial into 300. Top of this little block here, maybe 275s based on H1. So you've got an H1 liquidity, but he got swiped yesterday. So it'd be interesting if they restack it there. But yeah, 275, 300s, and then you're looking at 362. ES did just take previous day high out. For your interest, next stop on the ES would be a 5-day mean reversion up towards 320s, 5,320s on the ES. But ES already fulfilled its obligation. Low-hanging fruit on the ES taken. Previous day high, right? That's what we were looking for. And the ES did it. Made it very hard to get involved there. Location not ideal. Look at VIX now, dumping down. Like I said, it's going to come all the way down into the mid to low 36s. No structure here for it to base off. And just printing new lows after new lows. Oh, smash my table with my elbow. Did any of you take that long? Maybe some of you took it on this pullback or the reclaim or this. Not for me. I think we're going to get going up here now, 300 in this. This is where it wants to go, but again, I'm not going to be a buyer in supply. Yes, swept by about 2 ticks. Hooray, you took it. Nice work. Couldn't find an entry, Louis. Yeah, sort of same as me. I wanted that entry early in the day. So new H1, new H4 candle right here, right now, folks. This is what you're printing right now. Do not be surprised if we get a big move here in the opening 5-10 minutes. If it wants to rebalance all the way down to 18,060, it absolutely can. If it wants to get in a hurry through the 300s and keep going, it absolutely can. There's ES through previous day high again. Now you're approaching that 300 level. We know there's sellers up here. We've seen them on the tape. They've been here present this morning. So ES now clearly swiped through previous day high there and turned back inside. So just be cautious here. If you're playing the NQ, you might have divergence here. ES has taken out previous day high. We keep holding the opening range. There's potential for that move higher, because the longer we're here, the more that supply gets eaten up. That red block will get eaten up. Look at what's hitting the wire. Canadian PMI. Interview with Fox just ended. Just in a squeeze here, I think. Drifting higher still. Mag still look good. Very, very strong. Nvidia, great bounce back today. Great bounce back today. Seller here still at the 300s. All right. 114 lot here still at 300. The 61 lot in front of him right now as well. Starting to get chomped into. Not huge size on this tape today. Previous day high for the NQ is the target 300. Breakthrough 300 is probably going to get you up to 361. Location is terrible right now to be a buyer. Momentum is good. Location not so good. Your opening range is here. So if you're an opening range trader and looking for that, maybe. You want to be very careful if you get stuck in here. We got choppy in here earlier. Remember, ES has already taken out its key level, or it's already the equivalent of up here on the ES. You want to be very, very careful. If ES starts getting acceptance, maybe NQ can get going. I would imagine we're going to fill this guy up here now. Tapping on him, tapping on him, tapping on him. You would imagine you're just going to fill him. And swipe through 300 and you might get that previous day high move. It's another 60 odd points higher. Again, you want to be careful on the ES. ES has already done that move you're all looking for. They're building up for that move through 300. That's what they're trying to do. He's got filled now. He's now out the way. So can they now drive higher? Or do they get stuck? $300 now filled. Seller filled. He was legit. He's legit filled. I can see him. The question is, can we get to previous day high or do we get divergence here? ES clearly has taken it and it's trying to back test it now to see if they can find buyers there. Again, I keep saying it. The location for the long here is terrible. The momentum's been pretty good, but the location is terrible. ES has taken out the low-hanging fruit. NQ has not taken out the low-hanging fruit yet, but it hasn't offered a good dip, has it? It's been straight upside so far. You're in a straight squeeze. It's in like a slingshot trying to get up towards previous day high. That's what it's in a slingshot trying to do. There's your 300 break, clean 300 break now. If you're in this, you've got to be taking partials into 360. ES now holding that back test of PDH starting to expand. I'd say the psychological number here, 5,300, will be key on the ES. We look good to keep going here. The location is terrible. I don't like the structure it's built. It's in like shallow pullbacks, which to me say it's a bit of a squeeze because every single 1 minute pullback's getting eaten up here. I would much rather see all these bulls get taken out if we're really going to think about a big shove higher. Don't want to be joining up towards the top, needing a deeper pullback here to show me any interest. I'm not interested in taking anything here right now. You've not missed anything really, Ryan. So here's the back test on ES again, back towards previous day high again. I need a big, if I'm going to think about buying this, I need all these bulls who've been chasing this market up to get pulled out. All right, we need like some sort of trap, take all these lot out and then go again. Or if we get stuck here, I'm going to think about rotation if it's a clear shift in momentum. Because remember, low-hanging fruit got taken on the ES already. We've gone straight up. I don't buy it when we go straight up. Yeah, structure is shite. No, I agree there. I agree there, Dan. 218 points so far today. Probably the only traders I would say got paid today are probably those opening breakout traders, the orb traders, opening range. Yeah, starting to fail now. Does it find structure here on the old RBS level or not? QQQ, 5-day as well. 5-day and previous day high all stacked together there. At the moment, every tiny little pullback is getting absorbed. I want to see a big flush out before I even think about anything else. If they take previous day high without me, it's going to be very hard to get involved in anything today because they'll take all the low-hanging fruits in a sort of slow grind higher. I guess if we get through previous day high and you're holding on, you can look for a move into 18,450. Morning, Tyson. Morning, Yulamar. Previous day high, the only low-hanging fruit left. Again, ES has already taken it. We get through there, we can go and back test old supply. Remember, previous day high, anything outside of previous day high, at that point, we become an outside day. Think about the daily, though. We're back testing. Where's my 5-day gone? Can I refresh this? Why aren't you working? All right, that's interesting. Well, the daily 5-day, I can tell you, is at 369. So we're basically approaching it in this move. So here it goes. It goes for another shove now towards previous day high. That's what they're looking to take out. They're looking to just take out previous day high here. That's all they want to do. Take all that liquidity out. If they get above that, then we can drift towards 450s. Like we said, there's a high time frame up there. But the structure in the move up here is not nice. This is just probably shorts tripping over themselves. When we're doing shallow moves like this, shallow move, shallow move, shallow move, this is normally shorts covering, adding into it. Remember, shorts would have got short in supply, keep adding, and keep covering. When am I interested in getting long? Maybe on something like this. Maybe if we come and clean out all of these lot. If we get fails under here, though, I'm not really thinking about a long, to be honest. I want to see them all get washed out, really. Some form of trap. Thanks, all right. Sorry about that. It's still having a go. It still wants to get up there. It wants to swipe that PDH. Trying to avoid temptation to do anything here. These candles are still no joke, right? Your average ATR in this session has been around 59 points per 1 minute candle. That's your average, with highs of 85 and lows of around 30. Well, Andrew G, your yesterday high is wrong in my book, because that swipe up yesterday is right here and it's 360s. And I'm fairly confident it's correct because that's what we keep gunning towards. And I have the same across all my charts right now. Yep, already taken on ES tie. Yeah, I've said it about 20 million times this morning already. There is divergence. We've already taken the low-hanging fruit on ES. Absolutely right. Okay, look at VIX. Look at where we just found a bid. What did I say? VIX would drift down towards 36.50s. We just hit a low of 36.48. That's the start of a demand block on VIX, which goes all the way down to 35.52s. Right, so we're seeing a little bit of a reaction there on the VIX as well. Still think this wants to swipe, but if this gets stuck, it gets stuck. What can you do? If it doesn't offer us an entry model, we don't take it. Again, I do not like buying high. This can disappear now, though, because we have chomped through this. Let's get rid of that. Red line's the only thing left that we're looking for right now. That's what we're looking for. Delete this because I've got it on my indicator. There is a seller back on the tape. He's moved up 450. All right, that was the other level that we're looking for above into here. Higher time frame back test if it can do it. Not really interested in buying 350 to get to 450 though. I think that's probably the highest risk trade you can take today. Mag still holding their gains well. Apple looking good here. Microsoft looking good here. About an extra 2% up than last time I looked. Pretty strong. Do they find sellers though? Would a good back to 18,057 be good? 18,057 under here. I mean, potentially, but it depends how it gets there, Yulimar. I mean, if we get there like this, right, who's to say we just don't keep going at that point, right? So as a level, not bad, but how do we get there? Much rather be taking longs here and here, right, for that move back up. I don't want to buy a dip into here. There's no saying it doesn't go 300 points further down in a stop run. And I actually mean that in this market. Like if we crack that, you don't know what that next candle is going to look like. You just don't know in this market. You don't know what news has got us there. So I wouldn't be putting limit orders out at those levels without seeing the momentum and the structure into it. Trend tree, yeah, this is PDH. This up here, that's PDH. Yeah, from yesterday's high, right here. Just hands off here this morning. Just waiting. Still holding flow zones, still above the opening range, still with that low-hanging fruit target on the ES. Again, we have divergence in the tape. I would like a big sweep before I think about doing anything else. If this just goes up without me, it goes up without me. Like, what are you going to do? Just one of those. It's okay. We had a really good day yesterday. We can just sit still and wait. Was that because you were on tilt, trend tree, or was that because of issues with Top Step X, or were you oversized? Make sure you understand why you almost blew your account if you did. Important that you learn from anything that happened. Booklet's very thin here. Lots of volume been built up here now, but it looks thin, as in the new orders on the book, the limit orders on the book. Yeah, lots of people had tech issues. I mean, the whole market did. It wasn't just. It's funny, like even people and international brokers, and I see guys I used to trade with all having the same issues. People on the options chain couldn't get out when they were up, like 2,000% on their calls. There was So many issues yesterday. It's just one of those things. When we get those kind of breaks and moves and liquidity spots get thin and people get moved out the market very quickly based on that news, this is what happens. It's one of the dangers of trading. It's why you've got to use hard stops. You've got to protect yourself as much as you can. And you've got to understand, when you would have seen me yesterday, with the moment I saw there was an issue in the data, I didn't trade. I was like, nope, cannot take a trade now. Impossible for me to take a trade. All right, previous day high coming up here. It's looking to take out 360. All right, it's looking to take out 360. That is the liquidity level yesterday. Once we get through that, we will see what's what. It might be that we sweep it and then we start dunking on the session. We do not know. But that has definitely been the target all morning long, 360. It's just made it very, very hard to get involved to get there. If you took the opening range for the move there, you look very, very good. You probably got, you're probably already up 150 points. If you took that opening range break, you're up 150 points. Remember, that's your opening range. If you took this move here, you probably got it. And then we have to wait and see what it does here. Hopefully it sweeps some people out without taking it, and I'll think about getting involved. You were oversized in the NQ minis. Yeah, you don't want to be trading minis when your ATR is that big. Very, very risky. All right, did QQQ take it? Not quite. Very, very close to taking PDH. You've got 5-day moving average here across the market as well on the Qs. It wants to take the PDH out. It's as simple as that. That's what it wants to do. It wants to swipe the PDH out. Can it do it? No idea, but that's the move that it wants to do. Would I like to see it trap first? Absolutely. Can I get involved if it goes without me? Probably not. Probably just means I don't get a trade, and that's also okay. Come on, dunk back down, set some form of trap that we can get involved in here. Trying to be a sniper, trying to wait for the market to come to me. If it takes PDH out and doesn't offer me a long entry, then I've got two options then. If I think it can trade up to 450, 500, I'll think about another trade. If it's going to offer a sweep of liquidity and turn back downside and offer that short back down to fill some of these hourly imbalances, I'll think about that short back down if it shifts in terms of structure and momentum. Watching the hourly very, very closely here. We left a big, big drive on that last hour. Think about this. This is a big drive. We've taken out all this supply. This is showing good strength. Now, if it takes this out here and then fails, then I'll think about a return back in. This will offer a short back down here. You just can't be early to it if it's going to do that. At the moment, the way we're moving, I would say shorts are caught, all right? They're definitely caught here. They've been trying to add and add and add and add and add in. This is why we had this move. It's very shallow, right? It's not like we're doing this, all right? These shorts are forced to cover here. This is why just every single thing's getting absorbed, all right? Everything's getting absorbed. Shorts are a little stuck in this. They've been short versus supply without waiting for that shift in momentum. They've been guessing the top here, hoping that it fails. Absolutely, Claddon. Yeah, absolutely. It's how we have to trade. I will sit on my hands all day if I need to and not trade at all. And if it moves 150 points, 200 points both ways without me, that's also fine. Because I know when my setups come, it'll be a bit easier. Very close to PDH there. Didn't quite take it. Buyer on the tape all the way down at 200. That's the opening range break. That's the top of the orb. a passive buyer there, limit buyer sat down there looking to get filled, hoping that he gets a big wash that he can buy into right now. Again, structure. We do not buy these structures, all right? I do not buy this. Remember, structure we like is like this to this. We need the market to move like this. We do not want the market to move like this. You're asking to get slammed on. That's why I don't buy these when they do it. It can go without me. It's okay. If the market goes without you, just be okay with that. If you're still in this from that orb, though, you're about to hit your target. Remember that PDH, that's your target. It's where it wants to go to. It's what it wants to take. Hopefully you've taken some profits on the way. We're about to set our initial balance here as well, folks, in 6 minutes. Just checking the news here, folks. Not looking for tax increases. Not seeing too much here. All right, come on, market. Come and sweep everyone out and then maybe offer something. Remember, you do have divergence. We kept saying it. You do have divergence. Yeah, it's just a counter trend squeeze. I mean, it's both. It's actually a few things, Ty. I mean, we came into those higher time frame levels on the futures. We talked about it yesterday. I'm not sure if you were here. Those were daily and weekly and monthly levels that we traded down into those 16,000s, right? So you're likely to get short covering there, and you're likely to get high time frame buyers starting to step in. And then we had that news wick yesterday, that huge pump up, fake news all the way back down, and that trapped lots of people in the market. Once we took out the low-hanging fruit yesterday, I wasn't interested. Overnight, we haven't had any more bad news come to the table. We're hearing Trump say yesterday evening that, I can't remember how many countries, but he's basically saying every country wants to sit down with him and agree deals. So we drift higher on that, and we're still inside an inside bar because we're still inside yesterday's range. We're doing a mean reversion. We've reclaimed the Bollinger Bands. We're trading back to the 5-day. All fairly standard setups here. We did, yes. Yes, I talked about that yesterday, the 200 weekly. 200 weekly was right in that sort of higher time frame RBS block. You're very, very good eyes there. Exactly that. Lots of people were looking to start picking up SPY into that 200 weekly. Good confluence area there. Watching the ES here sort of dance around its previous day high. Flow zone still holding. We still didn't take PDH out on the NQ, but it's possible we get divergence. Look at the VIX. We got a reaction off 3650 like I talked about. Initial balance going to be set here in 3.5 minutes. Maybe then we get a trade. We'll be thinking about auctions and failed auctions. Failed auctions today would be a sweep of PDH, failure above, trade back inside, or a rotational play back down towards VWAP. That would make sense to me if we set the IB. If we did something like IB here, sweep, trade inside, rotation down to VWAP. That would be off a good RR probably. If we did a failed auction, an auction would be a bit above here probably if we leave the IB there for a trade into here, and then we have to see what's what. Something in my eye here. Flow zones are still holding, right? Structure is still bullish. This market is still in a squeeze, a drift, whatever we want to call it. That's what it's doing right now. It's in a drift upside. It still has previous day high as a target on the Qs. There you go. Did it take it? It got very close. Missed it by 2 points, I think. Hopefully, if you were long in that, you got filled some there because it pretty much took it. It pretty much took it. You can see the reaction there after getting up towards PDH. These are big, big levels. We know there's liquidity there. Is there a DTE puts up so expensive? Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Just a casual 70-point swipe in 3 seconds there. No big deal. Wild. All right, yeah, still holding previous day high, still basing above there on the ES. VIX trying to drift back down now towards 37s. NQ still didn't take it. It got almighty close, and you can see the reaction when it got there. It got very, very close there. QQQ touched it, did it? Let me have a look. Yeah, it did. You're right. QQQ right into it. Right into the 5-day moving average, right into previous day high on the Qs. Good eyes there, Ty. So getting a reaction off the cash players in the ETFs. IB now set here, folks. So your initial balance is basically your previous day high, and the IB low is basically your opening range low. Well, not basically, it is your opening range low. We're still in an inside bar on the daily here. You've got a 300-point initial balance, fairly large. Your ATR is still fairly large. We can move very, very quickly in this market. You must be careful. I need to put an anchor on my Ninja Trader here. I forgot this morning. There we go. Wouldn't be surprised to see us trade back down towards here right now. So initial balance, rotation back down towards VWAP and the opening range break high, the orb high, and then see if and what we do down there. Because we're going to sweep all these late buyers, which is what we're starting to see now. So a fairly aggressive move down from here. And we have to see if and what we do. Do we come and sweep out 44s and can't trade all the way back down here? How do we act at that orb? How do we act at that anchor VWAP? If we're going to fail, we're going to go back inside the range. Remember, we chopped around here this morning to get up to here. This is probably a common trade down to here. Now, do we find a bid here to go up, or do they lack acceptance and we go back down? Very tricky today because we're an inside bar. All right, and the way they've built structure has not been that pleasant to be getting involved in. So you've got to be careful. You've definitely got divergence between the two as well. Yeah, a little early there, Tyson, but it's paying you so far. Just watch the liquidity into here. I don't know where you got in, but if you took it from here, I'd pay yourself 1 there and maybe move your stop in, or at least move your stop into the money now, just in case they protect these. You would expect them to get swiped, but just in case they protect them. Watching ES here into PDH. If they start selling into PDH, you might get that move that you want there, Tyson, back down. VIX starting to get going, or trying to build a flag to get going On a 5-minute, I'm watching the VIX. So possibly setting up that rotation back down versus 300s, maybe versus 300s. If ES stays heavy, if the VIX gets going, you get that move to the opening range break high. I'd be locking in profits if you are taking that kind of play for that move down. I wouldn't be looking to trade more than that, just in case they protect everything here. Did not sweep much there. We left a lot of liquidity there. Yes, dancing on that PDH. These are sensitive areas here. Here's that test of 300 coming. Remember, we left PDH on the NQ. So one thing I would say, I know we tapped it on the Qs, but we left it on the NQ. It's tricky. These are tricky sort of formations here, if you want to call them that. Maybe that 300 looking good now. You would need to see follow through here. If it lacks the follow through, I'd be very, very careful, those who are playing this. Just because we left that resting liquidity higher. I'm developing a cough here. It's not good. Nothing I absolutely love here. Yes, reclaiming that PDH. Remember, we left resting liquidity at PDH here on the NQ. So one thing I'd be very careful of. If it does not fail here in 300s, I'd be very, very, very careful. Flow zones remain bullish. Liquidity is still at PDH. Momentum on the day has been very strong, drifting upside. Would have much rather we swipe lower there for me to think about the long. And just be careful, those of you who are looking for the short rotation. Inside day still, inside initial balance. We expect choppy action when we have this. Stick to the rules. South Korea acting President Han emphasized will cooperate on shipbuilding LNG balance in trade in a phone call with Trump. India Trade Minister talks with the US on bilateral trade deal going in the right direction. Gear, high reciprocal tariffs will go into effect tomorrow. China has not indicated that it wants to work towards reciprocity. How do you say that? Reciprocity. Don't know if that sounds right. Many countries have said they won't retaliate. Some have said they will lower their tariffs. There are about 50 countries that are currently speaking to the US about tariffs. Right, so lots of news sort of starting to hit the wire in the last few minutes. Reciprocity. Yeah, I did say it. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. It's a tongue twister, that. Reciprocal is easy, but reciprocity, I can't get my tongue around it. Reciprocity. All right, so are we starting to see tapering and a roll here? It's very, very dangerous. Potentially, this is what you're looking at. But again, this is I would like to see this swept before I think about this. It's very, like, there's nothing here giving me confidence right now. And I know that we left low-hanging fruit higher. This is kind of awkward. There's no imbalances here either. We've been very efficient this morning. Very, very efficient in how these candles have moved. You'd expect like a little dunk down first before they go higher, but it's just not showing a willingness to do that because the market's been very, very strong. Here's ES back to previous day high yet again. Previous day high hit yet again on the ES. So if you're going to get that move, you want to see it start to build out here, really. If you're in that IB move I'm talking about. Maybe starting to play a little bit for you here. Watch the spread as well in case this starts to open up. All right, be very careful if you're a market player here. I've been warned you guys a lot recently. If you have the habit of market in, market out, you need to be careful in these environments. Speed of the tape and slippage can make it very dangerous for you. Yeah, Ty, I think so. I want to see a dunk lower first to have that move higher. That's how I feel. I'd like to see that move lower and increase short positions into it before we move higher, but it's just not showing a willingness to do it. Making it very, very tricky. Maybe one shove up. If we use this liquidity later, maybe we get one shove up and we use it later in the day. Yeah, I just want to see, what I would like to see is this get taken. This gives me confidence. If this gets taken and then it turns inside, then I know we can go for this. Right now, the same as possible here. So this is the danger here. We've left internal and external right now. It's not ideal. We're still an inside bar, remember. We are still an inside bar. And we're still inside initial balance. We expect chop. We expect traps. Nice, Tyson. Good risk management there. We're just basing out here. Like, look how long we've been here now, since 10 o'clock, 40 minutes, just basically trading sideways in a like 100-point range, which is still a lot, but it's not very much in this size of the market. And this is probably equivalent to a 30-point range in a normal market, 20-point range in a more normal market. Back to PDH again here on the ES, right? So it's struggling. It gets above, back test, gets above, back test. So bigger, stronger candle here on the ES, starting to drive lower here. You got to watch this RBS sort of session into 275s on the ES, equivalent of right down here for us on the NQ, 214s. Do they catch it? 214s down to, all the way down to 200 really. There is a buyer on the book down there. We talked about it. There's a buyer on the book at 200. Is he interested in absorbing? Here goes the ES. ES wanting to break those lows, wanting to just swipe late balls out the market, and then we have to wait and see if there's a reaction there or not. Remember, we've had a huge move up here this morning. We're up 722 points on the NQ. Just to give you a bit of perspective, we're 4% up here. This is not a small move. If it wants to do a deep retracement, it's welcome to do a deep retracement. Definitely not going to make this easy for anyone. Yes, swiping those lows now, starting to swipe those lows. Does it find a bid here at 275s? This is the RBS level on ES. We didn't swipe them quite yet on NQ. We got very, very close. Yes, already trying to turn upside. NQ left them alone. Do we get divergence again here? Who knows? Now moving down towards these levels. Now starting to potentially break that level into 50s. We break 50s, we're going to flush down into VWAP. And then that VWAP and opening range become key for sentiment for the rest of the day. Here's the ES now coming into its RBS level. So if you re-got that short, you look pretty good. They've made it very, very tricky. I do not blame you if you didn't get anything. I have not got anything here yet. Wanting to see how we react here now. Do sellers really start to come in heavy here, or is this a little trap just to swipe back up as we trade back towards deep pullback, New York VWAP, opening range high? All these levels here, basically. Easier levels. Do they hold these? Will this move back upside, or do they get stuck? They are starting to make lower highs and lower lows on the lower time frame, on your M1. Watching the spiders here. Do they go all the way back to VWAP on the spiders? News hitting the wire here. Mexico to meet with the US today. Gear still talking here. So there's your VWAP tagged. Opening range coming up here now. ES trading right into it. SPY not too far away from its VWAP. Got one eye on that. Well, and there you go. So there's the reaction. Is that news hitting? That's a little bit wild there. This is why you got to be careful. That reaction off VWAP on the opening range. How big was that candle? Almost 100 points. I haven't seen any news hit yet, but that feels like a news candle there. Maybe it's just some covering, but it feels like a news candle. That was very quick. Yeah, this is getting absorbed there. You can see those wicks. Something's going on here. I'm hands off here for a minute. Breaking news, Trump's trade genius sparks massive stock rebound. What is this here? I don't know about that. That's just Trump tweeting. We're trying to limit imports driven by unfair trade practices while promoting US exports. Let's let this settle down. Nice, BU. Good work. Good work. Starting to base out here. All right, so the question is, are they going to find a bid here, or are they letting this go? Are we going all the way back down towards lows? Remember, we're very, very high up. Remember, this H1 can come all the way back down to 18,070s. We can trade all the way back down to that Asia high if it really wants to. Or are we going bid up here? Is this just a little swipe to drift higher? players on the book here for sure into 18,200, 18,187, 18,150s. I've just got a funny feeling it's going to be a no trade day for me right now. Coming back into that orb, coming back into the RBS. ES looking a little weaker here now. SPY into VWAP here. I think this is going to be decision time here. SPY into VWAP. They start letting go of VWAP. I'd say the market can get in a bit of problems here. Structure starting to shift for downside, and just very, very cautious here because of the structure of the spiders and of that opening range where we broke out from. We're just at an RBS level here. If we start to let go of this, and the H1 definitely opens up possibilities of lower trades. But so far, we're seeing a reaction or a slight reaction off the VWAP, off the RBS. We start letting go, though, there is a trade all the way back down to IBL. There's a trade under that for sure. Big if, buts, and maybes right here. And the range is big. Right, the range is big. Yeah, exactly. BU. Starting to be a bit more violent for that downside move here. You can see sellers really starting to step in here. SPY still holding VWAP for now. They give up the ghost though. Remember, the higher time frame narrative is still lower. Daily and weekly, we are lower. If you took that opening, if you took the initial balance short, make sure you're paying yourself some money here, please. If you're holding a runner for lower prices, you've got to be paying yourself some money here. Trump has been clear that he won't do tariff exemptions in the near term. That's what we're seeing right now, starting to come out. Spiders still holding their VWAP here. Okay, spiders still holding their VWAP. You have turned into more of a bearish structure here in the lower time frame. You're at a very, very key level. They're making this very, very tricky today for sure. They're not going to make this easy. Trying to be patient. Just looking at hourly. I do not like the look of that hourly. Let's see. This hourly wants to drop. It's got a long way down. It can drift a long way lower before it finds any sort of structure on the hourly after sweeping these highs. It did leave this one, but it did sweep this for the second time if not everyone got filled yesterday. So just want to be a little careful here. If they want to get heavy, they can get heavy. VIX starting to trade up towards previous day low now. The VIX really starting to get going here, back towards 38.50s. If you're in this short, you look pretty good. Just make sure you're being cautious, moving your stop down with it. SPY just hanging around VWAP right now. The lower time frame sellers definitely started to come in here and take control. It's wild to think we're already 160, 170 points off the highs, off that initial balance high. It's crazy how quickly that happens. The range is massive. I want to be the right side of this when I pick it. It's not shown me a push to fail yet into sort of 260s, 270s. It's not showing me a bid coming in yet at this opening range, high and VWAP. So there's just nothing here that I really like yet. Being maybe overly picky. New York Open probably going to be key also. The SPY coming to back test its view up here after drifting under it. Remember, we've moved straight down. The same way we've moved straight up, we've just moved straight down pretty much. Every single pop failing. We're sort of in a grindy, rotational environment. Not my favorite environment to play. Those who know me know I like trend plays. Or I like outside bars where possible. Back towards that New York Open, not too far away now. Back towards where we found buyers from this morning. So you want to be careful. If you've been short in this, you want to be thinking about taking some partials. If it's going to get really weak here and go to IB low, it'd be a fantastic trade for you all. That squeeze, just giving up that ghost. Like squeeze out all morning for the upside. And we said it was definitely a squeeze because of the structure, because everything was so shallow. Now it's just giving up the ghost, going back downside. ES really looks like it's going to come for that IBL and VWAP. Right, basically on the ES, it's going to keep drifting low. That's what it looks like to me. Nice, Mike. Very, very nice. Well done, team. You're all doing better than me. I'm still 0 for 0. Actually, that's not true. I did have that one order which filled and instantly cancelled earlier. Yeah, back towards that New York level. We'll see, Tyson. We'll see. It depends really if ES wants to drag it back down towards the IBL and VWAP. Back to around towards that New York level for sure. 47s. ES in a hurry to get to its VWAP and IBL right now. That's what it looks like to me. ES in a hurry to go lower, back down towards its low of day. Yeah, it definitely feels like it can give up a lot more. Look at the VIX starting to get going now, starting to fill its gap. QQQ trading into its VWAP here. Remember, we can trade. I've got to extend these out now. This is your Asia. Can come all the way back for these if it wants into these Globex. It's able to do that if it wants to. Here you go, starting to flush down. Here goes ES. IBL coming up, VWAP coming up on the ES. QQQ into its VWAP right now. These look like they're in a hurry to break lower right now. Let's see if they absorb this. If they don't absorb this, there's a good chance the NQ goes all the way back to its lows. Look at the speed at which it's failing here. There's been no pop to get involved in. A straight sell down other than this little news swipe. Everything's just been roll over downside. DK, I don't know why your VWAP says that. No idea, sorry. Both my VWAPs on Ninja and here are correct. Maybe you've got it set to just certain hours or something. Nice, John. Very nice. Taking the IB. Nice work. Yes, very close to its IBL and VWAP here. You got to expect it's just going to get down into that. It's where it wants to go right now. Here it comes. IBL coming. New low of day coming for the New York session on the ES you would expect, and then into VWAP. And then if they stay heavy there, who knows? We can start drifting down. Look at the VIX starting to get going now, on its way to 40 right now. VIX in a hurry here. There's your IBL tap on the ES and your VWAP tap on the ES. So you're starting to see a little bit of reaction off here. First covering position probably for shorts here. Do genuine buys come in? Do we reclaim New York? I know, Coop. I know. It's one of those days. It's all right. It happens sometimes. Just be patient. Just be patient. It will either give us something or it doesn't. ES behaving itself very, very nicely. Why is my phone blowing up? I'm going to have to put this on silent. It drives me mad when people do this. Non-stop messaging. So there's a reaction off the VWAP on the ES. Starting to see a reaction here. You're back to towards the New York Open here. So you need a drive higher, really, and then you need to think about a sell point. Unfortunately, the structure on this is absolutely terrible. You'd want to see NQ like drift lower, really. So you want to see a big push up and start to fail if you're thinking about anything. No, Raf, only just one trade this morning, which was an in and out that got cancelled instantly. I am looking at this. I would like to see some move up to sell into now because we've had no real push up. But structurally, it's very, very difficult here, especially if like buyers are really going to step in aggressively on that VWAP and IB low on the ES. But I am looking... I would like to get a short in this market. I'm looking for a bear flag to sort of start playing out to take a short back down towards the IBL. So looking at this right now, some sort of squeeze higher to then short into would be great. Just structurally, they've made it very, very difficult for us today. They're reclaiming New York now. Do an anchor off that high, maybe. Yeah, somewhere into here, maybe. I'd think about it. Keeps rejecting flow zones there. Looking for like a bear flag to go back down towards IBL here and VWAP here on the Qs. The tricky thing is the ES, right? The ES has tapped its VWAP up and is holding IBL. So I want to be very, very careful. If we take this bear flag here and ES doesn't break down, we're going to get stuck. So this is why I don't really like it. I want to drift higher first into sort of these areas up here. We can make this red, anchor off the high. Somewhere up here gives me better RR. Even into 250s would be great. Somewhere up there. If it doesn't do it, I don't really know what I can do here. It might be just one of those days. It's just one of those days. A Limp Biscuit in my head now. Come on, market, up you go, and then offer me something. Or just be an absolute arse and offer me nothing, maybe. I don't know. You're going to bear flag, you're going to do something, you're going to help me out here, are you going to do anything? You're just going to be a pain for me all day where I just sit on my hands like a lemon. What I don't like is its position to New York right now. If it starts letting go, I'm going to feel much more confident about this. Come on. Come on then. All right, starting to join into this now. How am I getting filled there? Mate, that spread must have opened right up. I moved my stop down and got filled, and it's nowhere near me. That is stressful. I had perfect short position there. Okay, mentally reset here. I literally just moved my stop into 60 and got filled, and it was nowhere near it. We were printing 50s, which means a spread opened up of 10 points there. That's nasty. Okay. Mentally reset here. See if it offers me a new interest. My take on the F1 race, Big Pun. Most boring race ever. It was so boring. Terrible race. Fair play to Max, driving a not great car and getting first and holding first position all the way around. Just a terrible, terrible race. What was your thoughts on it? Here we go then. It's going to go without me now. Fantastic. Watching IBL here on the ES. If it holds it, be very, very careful. If ES holds IBL and VWAP, you need to be careful. Otherwise, I think you get a breakdown here on the Qs towards the Qs, IBL, and VWAP, which is what I was playing for versus flow zones. I don't know, TR. I only set it up before the stream this morning. I'll have to have a proper look at it after stream, make sure it's working properly. Oh, this market's just going to piss me off today, I can tell. ES absorbing VWAP again there. That's what I'm saying. You've got to be very, very careful of. If ES keeps absorbing here, you need to be careful. You need to watch that New York Open as well and the flow zones. They're all very, very tight now. You'd want to see NQ really trade down towards that initial balance low. I'm going to sweep all those low out. Yeah, I agree, Big Pun. It is a turd, and it is impressive from him to do that. I do agree with that. So one thing I would say, but other than that, I thought the race was terrible. I'm bored out of my brains in that race. Can I get a fill? Is anyone going to let me get a fill here? Here we go. Without me now. Watching for that IBL if you get there. Be very, very careful if ES keeps absorbing around here. All right, it has the lower time frame, algo here, and VWAP. Mate, I cannot get filled on any position. I don't know what's going on. We've got to back off and breathe. This is when I get on tilt, so I'm backing off here. This is what happens when I get frustrated, when I have a fill and it knocks me out for no reason, and then I can't get filled, so I need to back off here. Cannot believe that knocked me out. Ay. I'm only human, folks. I still have feelings. You're seeing them live on stream right now. I was short into 62s, moved my stop into the money, never got anywhere near my stop, and it knocked me out. So I don't know how. It must have been a spread there or something, but I got knocked out on Ninja, unfortunately. Be very, very careful here if ES keeps reclaiming. If ES does a failed auction underneath IBL and reclaims, you want to be careful here if you were short on the NQ. All right, nothing wrong with locking a few profits in here. But if ES starts to reclaim like it's trying to now, you might get in a failed auction event. So I'd be watching your New York levels here on the NQ very, very, very tightly. You want to see ES fail. You want to see NQ trade down towards VWAP if possible. And if it breaks VWAP and lower time frame algo, you can get a drift into 17,900 in my opinion. Not out of the question. You're just not going to let me in though, are you? You're going to give me horrible fills, run me out, and then go. This would be 70 points for me already here. Albon's a great driver, man. Albon is such a good driver. I think like Christian Horner, I don't know why he dropped him so aggressively from Red Bull. The guy barely got a chance. Same as Gasly. Like Horner's just weird like that. Drops really good drivers. Like Albon is driving a piece of junk and has been for a few years and really making it perform. It's impressive. And he's got a good attitude, I think. He's a calm driver. You're getting close to your IB here, folks. Very, very close to your IB. You start failing this, you get VWAP. I can't get a fill. This is nuts. There's your IB. There's your trade. There's my trade. There's my low-hanging fruit gone. Sorry, folks. You are seeing what it looks like to have tilt and control it right now. So into VWAP here. Into VWAP here. Big, big levels here. You should be covering some of your position here, folks. You should be covering some of your positions. Runners now. All right, if you start breaking down underneath these lower time frame algos, where we found bids this morning, remember, this is structure here. You have to respect it. If we start breaking down under here, we expect some choppiness into here. This is Asia. If we get into here, we're either going to bid up or bid up off here. But these are cover points. Cover points now for runners. Unfortunately, the guy you're watching had a beautiful entry right here. Moved his stop down when it started to go and got swiped out when it never even came to that price. So don't really understand that, Ninja, but it is what it is. There'll be other trades. There goes ES really starting to fail now. Oh, my lordy. Oh, my lordy, lordy, lordy. What are you going to do, eh? What are you going to do, folks? Just got to take it on the chin now, unfortunately. Make sure you're paying yourself some money here. This is the hourly. We're coming into the hourly like I talked about. These were the cover points for me, right? Coming into the hourly here. Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. It's just what's frustrating is I was in it. That's what's frustrating. I was in it. 200, still 200. It's good. So IBL backtest here, VWAP backtest here, ES floating deeper underneath it. VIX will look for a break of 41s. Break of 41s can send it leg up on the VIX, which will be leg down on the market. And you're in battlegrounds now. You're absolutely in battlegrounds now for this market. So make sure you have paid yourself some money, please. Nice, Louis. Louis Talon, 5x personal goal for the day. Well done. Backtesting IB here. ES has got a long way to go to backtest its IB. A long way to go to backtest its IB. Now, what do you get for the rest of the day? Well, if we start to reclaim here, we go back to these levels here, don't we? If we stay heavy versus these, there's a trend down expansion possible. You're still in an inside bar. You still have to respect the initial balance for now. You're positioned very, very differently on the initial balances right now. All right, ES is about to sweep out all this liquidity down here right now. Down here. ES is so much weaker. It's drifted way, way off its IBL. So back to that lower time frame algo. Remember I said we bid off this quite a few times overnight. ES looks very, very weak here. I hope so, big pun. I hope so. Yesterday was really good, though. I've been pretty clean. I just think, I just think that in all likelihood is likely to be a spread issue. And whether that would have happened in a live environment or not, I'm not sure. But definitely on, obviously playing sim data when I'm playing my PA accounts, it's still sim data. You just got to wonder sometimes, if there's if it doesn't protect me with the live order in front kind of thing. So, sim fills are better most of the time, but maybe in occasions like that when it's spread, maybe they're not. Doesn't get as much protection. Still fading here. ES looks very, very heavy. Coming down to possible support into 190 here in the ES. All right, that's 190 down to sort of 85s. It's where it broke out from overnight. You need to be watching that level as we trade into it here on the ES. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. What a cheeky one NQ was today. Not taking that, eh? Very, very close. Not taking it very cheeky. Maybe a drift down into here now, folks. These were the original levels we were thinking if we're going to be a buyer this morning and drift down into. These were the original levels we were thinking about buying off before the drift higher. All I tried to do was join the short. It wouldn't let me in. Huge fails. The first opportunity I had to join was here. It's the first pullback. Tried to join, got knocked out. This is a nice trade back down. Levels of liquidity now getting run. No pullback for me to join since then. You could argue that IBL fail maybe. Yeah, into that H1 block as well. If we're watching H1, we're into that sort of area that we found a bid from this morning. This is what I was saying. We can rebalance all the way down into here if it wants to, which we've done now. If it wants to swipe the old H1 low, 927, it can trade back into that Asia level of 885. But we expect this kind of choppy action in an inside bar. I say choppy, it's not that bad, is it, really? But it's just whether you can get a clean entry. So be careful. You can see that bid coming off that lower time frame algo. I said this blue line, it's been respecting a lot. Over under here, over under here, over under here. If you go back, held it here, held it here, held it here. It's been respecting this lower time frame algo a lot in these moves in the last few days. So I'm watching them carefully. And a big bid up of RBS here on the ES. Let's see how high this can go. If ES can backtest the IBL and stay heavy, I'll be interested. Again, we've got divergence in terms of positioning on these, which is going to make it tricky. And we've gone deep, deep drive down here. Big wick printed there on the M5. This can drift all the way back up into 20s, 120s. You'd be surprised going back test the New York level. If we start building liquidity here, I'd be careful. We'd expect this to fail, but if we start building here, we go higher. If we fail this, we come back and back test. You want to be careful here. These are not easy trades. You see how quickly it moves. One headline can change everything. I'd like to see ES back test VWAP really. I want to see if sellers are actually present. Getting very close here on the ES for that back test. Do they fall short? The range rotation continues. Nice, Tyson. Great work. ES getting close to backtesting its VWAP and IBL like we talked about. Big reaction off that lower time frame algo, the blue line there. Big, big reaction. We trade back into flow zones here. Do we go leg down here? Or do they start to catch a bid now? Watching IB. So good volume coming here. This will be key for sentiment. For a hold, for a fail. Remember, failed auction can be here. But again, positioning to ES very, very peculiar because ES is still underneath its initial balance. I'd like to see ES trade all the way up to VWAP, really. That's what I'd like to see ES do. There seems like a hurry to sell this right now. Right, into that imbalance that we found a bid off. Do we start letting go? I'm in this now, having another attempt. Lower, that is, not higher. Wanting to see it melt all the way down now. Beautiful. Stop into the money. Break down here. Come on. Are you joking? I only got filled on one account. Are you joking? Oh, I'm going to snap. Ninja, come on, man. And now it's filled me the... What are you doing? All right, that's my sign that I can't trade this. It filled me one account and then it flipped me because that one account got stopped out and it tried to fill me the other way. Oh my God. What a POS. What a POS. Fucking, you gotta love trade copying sometimes. Lucky I caught that. Lucky I caught that. All right, lower we go. Oh, I'm having copier issues now. I'm having major copier issues now, getting error messages everywhere again. Oh my God. I'll close Ninja and come back in. Same as a few weeks ago, same errors come back. Haven't had that for a week or so now. That's so frustrating, folks. Ninja getting closed. Let's reopen. Another beautiful trade, and I miss out on profits because of it. Yeah, exactly, BH. One of those days. Flipping hell, mate. Me and technology do not get on. Aye. ES coming very close to RBS here. VIX looking for that breakout of 41s like we talked about. Let's see if this sorts it out here on Ninja or not. Are we going to get data here, Ninja? There we go. Okie dokie. We'll try again, shall we? This is going low and without me. That was a fantastic trade again. I guess that's the one problem with limiting in when you only get filled on one. I guess that's the one problem. Is if you're using an ATM and then I was on short there, and when it bought back because it only filled that one position, it tried to buy all the others back, which have just put me in the red on those. Well, there's a small loss now because of that last trade, but it's nothing. It's like, I don't know, $80 or something per account. No big deal. Maybe Asia low. I would say I'd be watching Asia highs first. Yeah, we talked about this morning. I'd be watching this area here first. Come on. Yeah, this orange box where you're based out from. Think about this as a fib as well. You're not a fib. Putting back towards this golden pocket now as well. Location gone now, though. That last short was good. I'm almost scared to take it now in case I get the error messages again. Let me try it on Sim, see if it gives me an error message. Can I move? Oh, that's a good start. All right, Sim's working. So I think you can trade into here. If it's going to let go, that's where you can trade into. Looking left, where's the liquidity? I'd say you can think about this liquidity. This guy right here. If it reclaims IB, you want to be very, very cautious. Remember, your H1 is already rebalanced. So a break under that red line would be to move lower and rebalance lower on the H1. Holding around that 18,000 right here. Big level, clearly 18,000. Same as ES 5,200. Clearly a big level here. Clearly a big level for sentiment. How long we got left? Half an hour until lunch, folks. I'd like one more trade. My head now, I've got to be careful. My head is like, I want to make that trade back where I just lost for no reason. Where it flipped me accidentally on the copies. So can I make that trade back now is the question in my head, which is dangerous because that means I'm not looking for a setup. So I'm going to back off now, let myself breathe, wait for the next setup. It's just one trade. It's not a big deal. I do think there is a chance for this market to attempt to move lower here into the Asia London lows. I'm getting error messages putting limits on these accounts, so I'm going to have to do a cash clear, I think. Fucking hell, mate. What is up with this shit? Let me try this. Sorry, folks, got to move this while I just open up Desktop Assistant. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, cash now cleared. Yeah, still holding that RBS, guys. That sort of Asia level that we talked about that we were looking for a trade into on NQ. ES is holding that right now. All right. Yeah, potential longs, I think down here, previous day high. Sorry, Asia high. Previous day high, Asia high. I don't really love the longs off this structure yet. We're still in a downside cycle, but the H1 has rebalanced. It has done most of its job here, for sure. One thing that's going to make it tricky is the ES. Mr. Slim, I don't play on stuff like that. That statement is you've already got a bias without realizing it, saying something like that. So you've got to be very careful with sentiment like that. Yes, definitely trying to find a bid here at that RBS level. I want to see a drift higher and then see if more sellers come back in, maybe a sweep of those highs into 100. Dancing around VWAP right here, dancing around the IBL right here. These are sensitive areas. There is liquidity drawdown here if it really wants to go for it. These are sensitive areas though. Still getting these issues. Getting this on my screen now. Too many requests. I don't understand. I'm just giving up today. Ninja's on one for me today. I'll have to give up that. I cannot trade when it just, I can't even put a limit on the screen above or below. It's just giving me error messages. This is what I had 2-3 weeks ago. And I'm getting the same things again now. Absolute nightmare. I've cleared cache, reset it, done everything, created a new ATM. Clearly a bug in my system for the last 3 weeks. It hasn't shown itself, and today it wants to show itself. Tech issues. What can you say? Tech issues. It's got to be something to do with the copier. Got to be. If I trade them one by one, I think it's fine. Doesn't like the copier at the moment. So yes, bouncing off that RBS. We're starting to backtest. The H1 has done its job, came back to that block, filled the imbalance. Is it going to drift back towards point of control towards 100 now? Do we start to reclaim the IBL and drift back upside here? It's been a big shove down. This is a big sell-off down. Back towards VWAP, back towards IBL. ES doing the same. Some internal stops here in towards that 100 I was talking about. I wonder if they drift up there, find a trap above it, and then retest the low. Or if genuine buyers just come all the way back in here and want to send it. Even one at a time won't work now. This is insanity. I can't move a stop break even. I cannot do anything right now. How am I supposed to trade like this, Ninja Trader? This is mental. Absolutely mental. If anyone has a solution to this and knows why, let me know. It's like it thinks I've got too many orders out there. It keeps giving me error messages. Absolutely mental. Yeah, I've shut down, restarted it. I just did a cache clear, just created a new ATM. It's the same bug as I had. I think you were away, Coop. I had it a couple weeks ago. Exactly the same bug. If I try and place a limit, even anywhere on the screen, it just comes up saying I've got too many orders. You're getting the same error message. Maybe it's just a data issue at Ninja then. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's a data issue over at Ninja. All right, here's that clear out of that internal high, guys. And you want to watch to see how it reacts here. ES already starting to attempt to reclaim. I'm trading on Tradeovate. Yeah, I'm using Tradeovate data. ES, a little rejection there in towards its initial balance. These are big areas. Remember, we've just swept that internal liquidity. Might want to backtest further upside. You are 20 minutes from lunch. We're coming into point of control here as well, folks. All right, this is where all the volume has been created today. Most of the volume today is at 100s. Big, big, big levels, these into 100s. If it wants to keep going higher, there's liquidity all the way up at 185. Just above that New York Open. It's choppy, choppy, choppy. This is what you expect in inside days. ES back towards its initial balance, or right at its initial balance again here on the ES. SPY can go and back test VWAP like we talked about. That SPY VWAP up at 37s. Reclaim that. A squeeze is potentially on to go all the way back upside. We trade all the way up, squeeze, we drift all the way down. We trade all the way back up. It's very, very, very possible in this market. No, definitely nothing to do with buffering or anything like that. It's definitely data issues or some form of copier issue or something. I just can't get on top of it. I've had numerous attempts to try and figure it out. I cannot get on top of it. Here's that move into the old block on the M5. SPY not quite at VWAP yet. Is this the swipe to go lower, or are they going to catch this on an RBS here? 100 sentiment key. ES IBH key, I would say. It's a fast moving market here, folks. These are not small moves. They might look small, but these are not small moves. If this gets going, either way, it's going to happen fast and nasty. A bit of a W look down here as we're breaking trend. Think about trend. We're starting to break trend. The question is it going to do something like this to retest, or is it a full reclaim? Trying to read through like Reddit forums and see if anyone knows what this issue is caused by. There's got to be other people having it in the world. I mean, not necessarily right now. So it's holding that RBS then. Pivot into here probable right now, I would say. and then see what it does. Coming into lunch, again, I've had tech issues, unfortunately, today. One of those things, going to have a small 1 hour red day. It is what it is. Hopefully, I can just get it figured before tomorrow. I'm going to have to, I might jump on a call with Ryan at Ninja Trader and just say, look, I'm getting this error message. What the bloody hell is it? I've already done 2 reinstalls in the last month or 2. Imagine we go back to PDH after not taking it. I mean, it's possible. We've seen weirder things. We've seen weirder things in this market. It's possible. I'm not ruling anything out. My bias would be like a little trap to go lower, to be honest, right now. But I've seen weirder things. We just have to wait and see. So far, we're holding that IB low on the ES. It's getting stuck around there. Sentiment will be based on that again. NQ's been very, very tricky today. I think ES has been a pretty clean trader. It's respecting levels very, very well. Still holding those flow zones. Oh, it's tricky this. Lower time frame telling me it wants to have a little attempt at a squeeze. It's just, will that be sustained? I'm starting to hold at RBS here. It's trying to build out a flag to go higher. I think any move higher probably gets sold into. We've never really done a move to retest the low yet. But like, if we're just going to trade back and forth, then, you know, we've traded from one side underneath the other side. If we get acceptance up, we trade to here. Maybe from here, we trade down. If we get acceptance above this, we trade all the way upside. It's back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. That's all this market's doing right now. Again, I am watching ES very closely at that initial balance and its VWAP. Those are the key levels for me right now. Same with the spiders. Same with the spiders. Mag still all very, very green. Does look strong. Tesla 5.5% up. Nvidia just under 6%. Meta 2.68%. Google over 2%. Amazon 2%. Microsoft 2.82%. Apple 2%. Pretty strong day here. They're holding gains pretty well. They give a decent amount back off the highs. They're still holding gains pretty well. ES cannot get through its IB right now, though. Decision point here for ES as it trades back into lower time frame RBS versus the IB. Does it find a bid here, or are we going back towards low of day on ES? It's going to have to make its mind up soon. Either it holds this lower time frame structure for a squeeze higher, which will be through the IB for a retracement higher, probably go and take out 50s, 250s if it's going to do that move. Or it keeps getting stuck and we go back towards lower day. It's got to make its mind up. Again, the range remains big. Remains big. Still rejecting that IB. Still has a chance to build. Iffy here. Not in alignment. VIX trying to find a bid here for a new leg up. We are definitely not in alignment between the NQ and the ES here in terms of positioning. Letting go here now. Having a little stab at this short just in case we're going to rotate before lunch. Already in. I'm only trading one account now, guys, because I can't link anything. Here we go. Nice rotation. I wish I was in all my accounts here. Wish I was in all my accounts there. Lovely. Down to the lower time frame, locking a little bit in here, holding for a low of day now. Or fresh low of day, I should say, in the New York session. That's what I'm looking for here now. That rejection of the initial balance, key there on the ES, I would say. Absolutely key there on the ES. We are just in a melt mode now. If they're going to stay heavy versus that. Coming back into some structure. I'd like to see us go and take out these lows now. If ES finds a bid here, got to be very, very careful, right? If ES finds a bid here, I'm going to have to be risk off. Because we are into a structure now. Push, pull. I was looking for sort of a trap high to go lower. Be careful on this H1 block. Very careful on this H1 block. Already locked in good money here, folks. We're looking for a drift lower if it's going to offer it. Here we go. Can we go and snap low of day now? I have a bot, Bobby, but it's not running right now. There's the first thing I check to make sure that's all off. If we let go of that lower time frame algo and start moving low, it's going to be lovely. We're looking for a low of day here. If we can take out low of day, we're going to look for that move into Asia. Looking good here, folks. Finally getting some trades. I'm going to be very careful if ES finds a bid. It's the only thing if we find a bid in this structure here. So I'm covering positions here. I want to be very careful again if ES finds a bid here. Look good for that snap down lower right now. Nice, Mr. Slim. Nice work. Can see news hitting the wire. I don't like the way the bot posts it all at once and isn't posting it like the old bots. It's very annoying. We excluded pharmaceuticals and semiconductors from reciprocal tariffs because we think they're their own investments. That's all I'm seeing right now. Still looking for a move lower here. Still holding to runners. Looking for expansion through low of day. There we go. Moving stop with it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Fantastic. Fantastic. Can we get a little bit more here into the Asia levels? Moving stop down. Taking a little bit more profit here. Like we said, we were looking for that trap high. I felt like we'd have a trap high somewhere towards view up and a rotation. Remember this move here, right here on the ES was the IB low, which is why I was watching that level as a pair. And we rejected it for that move lower. Very, very nice. So we're looking for now, if you can hold on, we're looking to take this guy out here, 927s and then into this. It's actually been a very nice move. That ended up being a very big move. Well over 100 points already, 150 points. Nice work, team, if you got that with me. I've had to be very patient. I've had to take copier off. I've had to mentally reset. You've seen me feel a little bit tilty, walk away, mentally walk away, sit back, off, try again, have more tilt happen, more tech issues, calm down, do a reset, clear the cache, everything like that. Take the trade copier off and try again, and now we've made some money. So if you can take a lesson from me today, it's just how to be calm. You've got to be chill. Very, very hard to do. This comes from years and years of me not being chill, right? Me being the opposite. Cladden, lovely work. Cladden, new member in the team. Nice work, my friend. Thank you, Louis. Yeah, lovely comeback in the end. Made some good money here today. I'll take it. I'll take it. There are going to be some small losses on some of my accounts. I'm going to be like $80 down on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that it? 9 of the accounts. One of them's only $28 down. Not sure why. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them nice and green now. So I don't mind taking small losses. It annoys me. You see how I don't let my tilt let me do anything too stupid. BU had a great day. 2 wins. Have a great day. Thanks, Flowzone A. You're welcome, BU. Hey, BU. It's 2 days in a row now, right? Since you took that break and come back. Good work. Good work. Shows you what you're capable of. Just keep reminding yourself that. Positive talk. Look what you're capable of. You have divergence here between the ES and the NQ, all right? NQ made a new low of day. ES is still protecting its RBS. Just be aware of that. The spiders right now are doing the same. They're protecting. So you should be in runners only. We've got divergence start to play out. You're 5 minutes from lunch, 5 minutes from a new H1 bar. Just be smart. All right, team, be smart. Remember, today is a defense day. We talk about it all the time. We're playing defense right now. We're not playing offense. Catch you tomorrow, Cladden. You should be runners only. Looking for continuation shorts here. Runners only right now. Look at how ES is setting up. It's building a range down here versus the IBL. Any reclaim of that IBL on the ES, you need to be risk off because ES is protecting an RBS. It's fading IBL, protecting an RBS. 5 minutes until lunch, sorry. Catch you later, Brad. Talk to you shortly. So you can see that divergence after we took this low here. ES is up here. It never took that low, right? ES made a higher low here. So ES currently has the chance of making a higher high and higher low. NQ did the trap, higher high, lower low. That's what I was looking for, that trap play to move lower. Why? Because we're in a downtrend, because we have targets to aim for, because ES rejected IBL, because we're underneath pivot. Not looking for buys down here. This is fishing bottoms. Would need to really prove to me to be looking for a buy. Back towards view up here. Small wins add up, Aga. Small wins definitely add up. Back towards view up, back towards IBL. ES going to do the same thing, it feels like right now. So I'm out. I'm fully out my position here, folks. Probably should have said that. The moment we started breaking above 18K, I was out. I'm not too interested in a re-entry right now. Back to view up, back towards IBL here on the Qs. ES not there yet, folks. ES has got to drive higher yet if it wants to do that back test. We've got a bit of tapering here now. Strong trend. Starting to go more sideways, isn't it? All right, this is where people will start to get stuck. You initiated shorts up here, you did well. I had one attempt here, that's where I got run out. I think I had another attempt around here, I can't remember, on NinjaTrader. That's where it got the error messages. And then I closed everything down and I've traded one account at a time for that move there. And now I'm risk off because we've taken this liquidity, we've left this. I would like to see lower, but if it's not willing to do it, if we're getting divergence with the ES, we need to be careful. It's very close to VWAP and IB there. Very, very close. Had a good go. Maybe a point or two away. Trend tree, for the first time, I took a trade with you live today and made a W with M&Q. Nice, Trend tree. Good work. Good work. Bobby Strickland, break stuff. You singing Limp Bizkit? That's my rage song. It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. NinjaTrader's fucked, and it really sucks. It's my trading version. Back and forth here. The liquidity injection here into the new hour. So we're into lunch now, folks. That's it. They're both really good. Honestly, I really like NinjaTrader. I really like NinjaTrader. I think it's a great platform for execution. I've just had, most people don't have issues. I think I've just got, there's a little bug on my system somewhere and I need to figure it out. And once I get that sorted, I'll be okay. All right, team. Well, I think most of you made lots and lots of money. If we go over a quick review of what happened today, some of you, here is your opening range. All right, some of you took this here, long, lovely trade up. Some of you took the failure of the IB for this move down and you added into your winner for this move down. And then some of you waited and took this last short with me for the trap high for the move down. So you've had one opportunity, 2, 3, 4 opportunities live on stream with me today. All right, pretty good opportunities as well. The range was good. You should have locked in some good money here. The market might continue to chop around, all right? So I'd be watching the same levels that we talked about earlier. If we go to the higher time frame, all right, the same levels. What have we just done? Backtest 5-day, okay? This is right now your channel. You know, sort of in this kind of channel, if it will let me draw it here. All right, if we start failing under here, we might get stuck and come back down deeper, or here we find a bid and bid up. Hopefully, my hope is it chops around the rest of the day because we're setting up a pretty good weekly model, right? We're setting up a pretty good weekly model. We've got news coming later in the week. We might be able to use this liquidity. So if we can trap more liquidity today, I think it will really help us for later in the week. Until tomorrow, trade safe, use hard stops, all the usual stuff we talk about. Don't go on tilt. If you feel tilt like me today, all you got to do is walk away, calm down. There's always another trade set up, whether that's today. If you can calm yourself down like I did, you can take that other trade. If not, just walk away. Come back tomorrow. It's always another trade. Peace and love, everyone. And everyone in Discord, I'll pop in there after lunch. Speak soon.